Hello my friends. In today's video, we are going to be redoing our very first room in the new house. It's a little echoey, but it's the cutest place to film, so I'm gonna do it anyway. If you watched my last video, you'll know that my fiance and I just purchased a 130-year-old Victorian home, and this is the very first room that I am going to be making over. I've been working on this for 2 weeks now, and it's finally done. I'm so excited to share the process with you. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe because I'm planning on posting a lot more content similar to this. This is such a good direction to be moving forward in for me. It's inspiring and so cozy, and at the moment this is the way that I'm expressing myself artistically. I still obviously love drawing and art, but it's really nice to step back and to work on something like this. It was so much work, but so worth it in the end. You can already see a tiny sneak peek behind me. I'm considering this part 1 of the room makeover, and stick around until the end to see how you can help me finish this room. Okay, let's get started. First off, when we moved in, this room was originally the master bedroom for the couple living here before us. We have taken what seems to be their guest room or their child's room, but we honestly enjoy the upstairs room more than this one, just for our own personal space. And we thought it would be great to have our offices and our bedroom upstairs, so in case we have guests over, we both have space. We're on different levels and we don't feel like we're in each other's way, especially if it comes to Zach and I working when the guests are sleeping or waking up and just trying to get ready in the morning. It's really nice to have the 2 levels of separation because this is a big house made of plaster, so it's pretty soundproof, which is amazing. The very first point of concern for me starting this room makeover was the fact that everything miscellaneous was dumped into this room when we moved in. Even though we knew that this was going to be the very first room we were going to make over, because this room is so close to the door, it seems like everything was just dumped into here and not any other room. It was such a big ordeal to clear this out of all the random stuff that we owned that was still in boxes to be able to make space for the makeover. I knew that I had around 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks to finish this room, and even so, for me, I started work really quickly. I'm definitely a procrastinator, so I don't quite know why I did it, how I did it, but I'm so glad I did. I started steaming this room immediately. I've never steamed wallpaper off walls before. It wasn't unpleasant to do, it was just a very tedious process. I personally enjoyed the process of taking wallpaper off the walls a lot more than I did plastering, sanding, or painting. I just hate things on my hands. When I work with plaster and paint and sanding and all that, I get it everywhere. I don't know how people manage to paint like in such a clean aesthetic way or to not get paint everywhere. I am so messy, not even on purpose. I'm not trying to be clumsy, but it gets everywhere. And so the wallpaper process, nothing was sticky. It was a pretty pleasant process, just took a really long time. It's haul time. I picked up an order from Lowe's and I also went to Ross. I got a mattress topper. These are the very exciting developments of being an adult on a budget, is buying something like a mattress topper for $20. The more exciting portion is I went to get my pickup order from Lowe's to start patching up the walls, and I have my plaster of Paris. I got a little cute green mixing trough for the plaster. It's called a mud pan. Sanding discs, putty knives. This is the first time in my goddamn life that I'm gonna be responsible with my health, and I'm gonna actually use sanding masks, which I've never done before in my life, but there's so much to sand that I can't put it off any longer. Last exciting thing is I bought a sanding block. The plastering process was at first I was so on board. I had such a great time plastering. And then I realized that what the box said about the plaster setting in 8 to 10 minutes was true. If you have any tips on how to plaster effectively or better, let me know. In my old house that was also plastered, I used wall spackle to fill in holes or cracks. And I just recently learned that you should patch plaster walls with plaster. It's kind of crazy. Who would have thought? Not that it makes so much sense, but I just thought that wall spackle was universal for drywall or plaster. I'm not sure if it's bad or good, but for this house, I actually used plaster and it was such a messy process. It took such a long time. I would say it was my least favorite part of the process, but we haven't gotten to the sanding yet. It's finally time for my favorite part. We're nearing the end. I'm so tired because I'm sick and I want to finish this so that we can just get to putting everything in place and then I can get to working on my actual office and my actual job. Adjusted. Okay, here we go. I listened to a lot of YouTube videos and podcasts, so I made it out alive and maybe a little bit more intelligent for it. But once I plastered over everything and I went kind of ham, I wanted the walls to be smooth and as nice as possible, sanding came. And the sanding was the very worst part for me. Remember how before I mentioned I hate getting messy? Plaster dust got literally everywhere. I quickly became overwhelmed at this point. In any makeover renovation demo, the part where everything is just messy on the floor, there's just so much trash piling up, like in this situation, the dust, I get extremely overwhelmed to the point of not being able to do anything. I feel like the world has ended and the room needs to be burned. It's not really an issue of liking cleaning or not, it's more of an issue of like messy versus dirty. This is really where Zach and our friend Ben stepped in. Got it pretty dust free. We wiped down all the windows and the baseboards and started painting. Now that the room was ready and a blank canvas, we can talk a little bit about design. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I designed this room before we purchased the house as we were in the closing process because I knew that this was going to be the first room I wanted to make over and the most important because we have guests coming today. I knew that I wanted this room to be finished for them coming, and so I planned this room out instantly. I knew I wanted a very dark and cozy vibe. Thinking back to every Airbnb and hotel that I've stayed in that's been dark, it's so cozy. I just never want to leave it. And so I wanted to create something that was just as inviting for guests to come to our home. Another good reason to choose such a dark color and aesthetic in this room is because we don't have to come in here often. So if it was terrible, it's not like we live here or work here in this room specifically every single day, but it gave us the chance to experiment and see how we like the wall color and the aesthetic. Because this house is Victorian, I wanted to mix some more traditional Victorian elements with more modern decor, things that I enjoy. I'll have all the furniture that I used in this video that I purchased new linked down in the description. I'll put a little note whether I recommend you purchase the same thing or not. For example, the dresser in this room was just the one in my old bedroom and I personally hate that dresser. It's really poor quality. It was a struggle for me with the full dresser filled to open and close the drawers because there are no permanent clothes in it. I think it's going to be great storage for guests. Put away their stuff so it's not a mess in the room when they stay over. So it was a great way to repurpose something that I already had and not have to buy everything new. Another really fun part of the home makeover was the fact that my last place was so packed with maximalist vintage decor, and so for a lot of the decor in this house, I really didn't have to go shopping. I could just unpack boxes from our move and remember things that I already had and just put them in here as decor. So the books and the candlesticks are just from my old place. I searched for the perfect wall color for a while, trying to figure out what would look best, and Benjamin Moore has a really cool feature on their website where you can see what the paint color will look like in different lights. This video is not sponsored by Benjamin Moore. I just love them. I think they are worth the money. I decided to get this color Silhouette. It looks so beautiful and like a milky charcoaly, chocolatey color online, and then when I put it on the walls, it's so much darker, so much more of a charcoaly brown than what the online swatches said. However, I still love it. I wouldn't change it right now. The original goal was to have the color be a tiny bit lighter, but now that it's on the walls, it's so cozy and I love it. However, the online swatch was not accurate. And we started painting. This is where I made the decision to split this video and this room makeover into two parts because we knew our friends were coming this weekend. I personally didn't want to paint the trim and the doors for this video because, let's step back. This house is beautiful and has been so well maintained by its previous owners. I don't want to give this home any kind of landlord special, and you know, I can already see that there is some buildup of paint on the windows and on the door frames, and so my goal is to completely take the doors off of their hinges, to take the hinges off and boil them, remove any paint, because the hinges even and the doorknobs in this house are so beautiful, and I want to make sure that everything is as pristine as possible. I'm not sure if this is going to be possible, but even if I could strip the paint off of the door so that it could be a natural door, that would be amazing. But for painting the walls, I made the executive decision to just buy paint for the walls and to go around all the trim carefully just with a brush, but knowing that it's going to be changed in the near future. Okay, Ben, it's your moment.
Are you serious? Should I take off my clothes? Oh, good. I dropped my pen. Your pen? Shut up. It's my moment. It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Shaky cam. Smile for the camera. My goal is to paint all of these door frames the exact same color as the walls, but just in the proper semi-glossy finish for the doors. Again, I want to do it as well as possible so that it can look clean and crisp and professional and not caked over with paint. So I'm gonna wait until a later date to properly sand everything. This room was properly painted in a can and a half, and these ceilings are 12 or 13 feet high. I have to measure them one day. And we had to cover plaster, unprimed plaster. So, you know, you'd think that it would all be so absorbent and you'd need several coats of paint, but Benjamin Moore is just such high quality paint. I definitely recommend it. The walls are done. Clean up the room. I'm gonna wash the floors. Then we can get started with some furniture in here.
Confirm the mattress is becoming aroused.
Oh!
It scared me though. Like just a piece. Why'd you get on no problem? Wow. Ooh, that's nice.
I was thinking there.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a faux pas to put a mirror facing a bed.
Because it's too hot.
Yeah. I feel like one of the key parts of interior design, especially as a layman and doing your own home and not doing this professionally, is being able to mix a lot of mainstream items that you can find with thrifted or vintage or Facebook Marketplace finds. For me, I think that's what makes this room so cute and unique. There's things from TJ Maxx, but there's also things that are vintage, and so I think they all pair together really well. I think there's also items that are specifically trendy that are created that you will be able to recognize versus some items that are new and mass-produced that still are good quality and have a timeless quality to them. For example, the full-size mirror that I purchased for this room, it's from World Market, and I think it's really cute and timeless. I mean, it has the sort of trendy curved corners, but I don't see how a mirror like this is specifically going to go out of style. So that's the way that I look at everything new that I purchased. The sheets, the bedding, the pillows. The rug was an amazing steal off Rugs USA. It was on sale for $70, and so we bought one for Zach's room as well because it's so cute. One thing that is completely unfinished in this room as well is the wall sconce. I purchased the cutest one. It's gonna come in a week or two, so not in time for this makeover. It has a little wooden shade and it's adorable. I'm so excited for you to see it and for us to install it anyway, but it hasn't come in yet. So the old sconce is staying. At least it kind of matches the vibe, but when I was painting around it, I accidentally lost one of the screws, so it's just kind of hanging askew on the wall. Another really easy fix for making this room look so classy and like dark academia is to change the wall outlet covers and even the register. It's the like AC vent cover. Those are such easy changes that don't cost too much money and can make such an impactful difference in your room. I love the cast iron register for this room. I think I'm going to change it in every single room. I really knew I wanted to get a decanter for water in here. When you're in a new place, you might want water at night, but you might have forgotten it, but you don't want to be walking alone to the kitchen to get water. I thought it was a really cute touch to have that decanter in here. I think one of the most unexpected but cute touches for me in this room was as I was looking for home decor and our stuff, I remembered this little autumn teacup that Zach and I got a set of from the thrift store once, and I realized it would be such a cute little piece of decor to put the washi tape for taping the Polaroids into the guest book. So it holds the washi tape, you can choose whichever color you'd like, and also the Micron brown pen for writing down your notes. I also printed out one of our engagement photos that we took in Paris, one that our photographer was like, hey, do you want to do this kind of Tumblr pose? And I was like, OMG, yes, because I'm still a Tumblr girly at heart. The head cropped with our docs showing. Behind me on the mantle are some of my old books, candles, and this really cute dried floral bouquet that my friend EJ made for me as a housewarming gift. It's so cute, and as soon as she gave it to me, I knew it was gonna go in here because it matched the decor perfectly. One thing about this house that's so amazing and beautiful are all the mantles, but I don't love this green tile behind. I in general love green. I don't know if it works for this room, so comment down below what your thoughts are. But for the next part of the makeover, I'm thinking of painting the doors, the window trims, and the baseboards, and then figuring out either changing out that tile or painting that tile. Because we haven't been in the space for too long, I don't want to just slap up some prints or frames on the walls unless I kind of know exactly the perfect vibe for in here. I'm also thinking of doing the picture frame molding in here. I know it's supposed to be very difficult, but let me know if you think it would be a great idea to add picture frame molding. And so that's another reason that I've held off on hanging too many things on the wall, because I don't want to put in holes and then have to re-spackle them, especially since apparently you're not really supposed to put holes in plaster, because over the years the plaster cracks greatly. This house has a ton of cracks, and so I'm gonna fix them, but I'm trying to also be intentional if I'm gonna put a hole in the wall. There is a picture rail in this room. I just don't know if I love the look of a picture rail for every single picture. So maybe if I have a really large print, I'll just hang it from the picture rail. But otherwise, Let me know your thoughts. I'm so pleased with how this room ended up. I'm so glad that this room is now warm, cozy, dark, inviting, dark academia, Victorian. It feels classic, but also updated and clean. I'm so excited for the rest of this room makeover, and I'm so thankful that you have stuck around with me until the end of this video. Let me know if you enjoyed it, if this is something that you want to see more of on my channel. I'm very grateful that you're here and supportive of this and that I get to share it with you because it makes me so happy. And my last video, a lot of you did comment and said you wanted to hear a little bit more about the house buying process, and so I'm going to be making that video. Keep your eyes on the lookout. In the meantime, I hope you have such a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.